I went there
Mm-hmm.
and I got to see how the world goes, right?
Yeah.
How it actually is, instead of in the pictures and instead of hearing from people. You're out there living in that city,
Yeah.
and I found out that we're all busy in our own world. We're all busy making money. We're all busy doing 9 to 5s.
Mm.
We're all busy, very, very busy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like you don't have time for yourself. You don't have
Yeah.
time to heal from all the things you've been through, like
Yeah.
at work, you'd be outside, you know, trying to get your way back to home, like in the
Yeah.
busy traffic. You don't have time to heal, and that thing, it accumulates, right? It goes up, 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 up.
Hi, this is Neha and welcome to Life 101. Today I have a very special guest. His name is Tenzin Sonam. Before I speak about him, I want to show a short clip. When I saw this clip, I wanted to have a conversation with him, and that is where it all started. He had his life in Paris, and that is something we all dream about, but he wanted to come back and give back to the society. Today's podcast is all about having a peace of mind, finding yourself, and finding your purpose in life. So stay tuned. Hi, Tenzing. Thank you so much for accepting to be a part of today's podcast.
Thank you. The pleasure's all mine, Neha.
I'm so excited today. Before we begin, tell me about you, as in did you grow up? How was your childhood like?
Well, let's go back to Kohima. That's
Mm-hmm.
where I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
and I was studying in Measure Higher Secondary School. I hope you know about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a school. Well, was one of the most popular school back in those days. I don't know how it is now.
I did my higher secondary there, so
Okay, well, it's good to know.
so speaking about that, then how did your journey begin? Like you are in Paris right now, right? You have settled down there. So was it a planned move or how did it happen?
Yes, my journey to Paris, was it planned? No. Uh, am I having a good life over there? Yes. Well, I was never intended to be there in the first place, but I got there
Mm-hmm.
eventually,
Mm-hmm.
thanks to my parents. And I didn't speak the language at all. That was a problem. Being in France and not speaking French is is not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Well, it was a struggle, life was struggle at the first, but later things went in well after I learned their language, their culture. It's very different. It's totally different from where I was from, and going into a place where it's the Western culture.
Yeah.
Uh, it's life changing.
Mm-hmm. So you said thanks to your parents. So were your parents already there or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were already there.
oh, so where did you grow up? Like where were you born and brought up?
Yeah, Kohima, like I said,
Oh.
that's where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So your parents were there, so you're staying alone, or how did it work?
yeah. My parents were there with me
Okay, so
when I
later
was
on they moved.
little.
Mm-hmm.
When I was little,
Oh,
later on they moved on.
all right, all right. So I saw a picture of yours, and when I saw that, it was like so soul feeling, and I cannot express the emotion that I felt when I saw that because you surrounded by those kids. Because the last conversation we had, you were in Paris, and suddenly I saw that, and how did it happen? Like the journey that you're on right now.
Yeah. So coming back to India,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's a very special kind of feeling because you were here uh, like all your life, and coming back to the country and being with the people, right? So actually, I wanted to contribute to the society, to contribute with what I know, with what I can teach them,
Mm-hmm.
like what. the things that I've experienced so that their life can be better.
Mm-hmm.
And that indirectly helps me because it gives me a certain kind of feeling and accomplishment that I did good,
Mm-hmm.
and that in return uh, helps me find something
Mm-hmm.
within myself, a peace of mind, like something spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very wonderful feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I hope everyone can feel that in
Mm-hmm.
some way at some point of time. Like there's no early early time to this. There's
Mm-hmm.
no later time.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you feel it, your whole life will change.
I mean, it's so inspiring to hear because spirituality is something that most of us plan for at our retirement stage. You know, maybe after retirement, I'll go and do this, I'll do this. But like you said, it's your spiritual journey. Now, what does this mean to you?
Yeah, like I said, spiritual journey. There is no time to that. It can be early, it can be later. The most important thing is that you realize that just simply existing, simply making money, simply being busy in your life uh, doesn't say that you're true. Doesn't say that you have done everything in life,
Mm-hmm.
accomplished everything, because at certain point of time you'll feel the lack. You feel a hole in your heart
Mm-hmm.
that can only be cured. That can only be regenerated
Mm-hmm.
through spiritual awareness, through these social activities that you do and contribute to the society.
So true. And also, what I feel like is in this fast moving world, we are kind of losing the humanity side of ours, because we are so busy running after success. Now, I don't really understand who defines success, right? Like, because that's a term that is like a water that can take any shape and form, and nobody defines what success is. But our society is built in a way wherein we are, we have a certain examples that this is the best way of life, this is not. But I feel like when we free ourselves from those things is when we find our true self. Now, this spiritual journey of yours, is it a way of finding yourself?
Yes, it is, and but success doesn't necessarily mean having everything, possessions and materials, and it can be intangible as well,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're finding happiness in doing something you love, which
Mm-hmm.
is through giving,
Mm-hmm.
then it is what it is. I cannot say for sure what success is really,
Yeah.
because it's different for
Mm-hmm.
everybody.
Yeah.
For me, but for me, it has been, always been finding yourself
Mm-hmm.
through contributing, through uh, helping others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
likewise, I say like His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama says, like kindness is my religion, and compassion is everything for us.
Yeah, yeah. And I think this is what keeps us alive. There is always something other than our 9 to 5 job that always keeps us alive. Now you already have your life settled out there in Paris, but you wanting to come back and do something for your society or do something for somebody that is there in need. I mean, like I told, spirituality is something that people keep for their retirement, but you at such a young age having this in hand and doing the journey of finding yourself, which is so important. I mean, I can only imagine living a comfortable life that you had in Paris, and you deciding to, you could have just said, oh, I'm here and like I'm just happy with it, right? But you deciding to come back, and I'm sure you, where are you right now?
I'm in the southern part of India.
All right.
It's a place called North Canada.
All right. And before this,
It's in Karnataka. Sorry,
okay,
it's in
and before
Karnataka.
this
Yeah.
you were in
Before
Dharamshala.
this, I was in, yeah, Dharamshala.
So all these
It's a
places,
very,
yeah,
yeah,
all these
it's a
places
very,
will not have a comfortable space, and you deciding to get out of the comfort zone
uh,
and not caring about all this, where I'm staying, where I'll be eating and all that, and just following the path, and you um, being there and just contributing and just trying to find. I mean, it's such a beautiful journey. Um, I mean, tell me more about it. I want to learn so much about it. So, what do you do in all these journeys?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's a privilege for me. Not
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
um, who has dreams of doing so, even if they want to,
yeah.
can do this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a kind of a blessing, a privilege that I
Yeah,
have right now.
yeah,
So I wouldn't miss it for a world.
yeah,
And I just want to keep on doing like what I have in my mind and like
yeah.
be there for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Be there out there,
Mm-hmm.
helping others in every way possible. What
Mm-hmm.
in fields which I'm good in,
Yeah,
and yeah, that helps me a lot,
yeah,
and it heals me inside. You
yeah.
know, we are
Which is very
all
important.
struggling in our own
Mm.
lives in some way or another, and
Yeah.
it helps you and get your feet up. It helps you get your feet up, and yeah, I would like people to try that more so that
Yeah.
you in return can benefit a lot from it as well. It's not just that when you give to others, you accept, you also expect them to give back to yourself something.
Yeah.
But the feeling itself when you give something to others, that
Mm-hmm.
is that is also very immense.
Yeah. Now the feeling of giving back to the society, so, were there something that intrigued you to thinking about giving back to the society? Or I mean, there will be a point, right, where you must have thought that this is what I want to do. I'm doing this, but this is not okay. This is not 100% of where I want to be. This is something. There is something missing. And how did this journey start?
So so what I'm doing is volunteering, and it will pretty much require a lot of my time, you
Yeah.
know, and to help others and to do things for them,
Yeah.
even if it's very small,
Yeah.
an hour of your day or an hour in a week
Yeah.
itself, it's something. So never think that it's too little. It won't make a difference. It does make a difference. It will.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm doing more, many hours,
Mm-hmm.
and it relieves me of
Yeah.
everything outside the world, right,
Yeah.
which is going on,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps me, within myself,
Yeah.
and it clears me out. It helps me understand better who I really am,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps me find out all the things that I can do
Mm-hmm.
to the society to help them, to help people in their own lives,
Mm-hmm.
and then in return they feel good, they feel better, and that's all that I intend to find at the end of the day.
Yeah. I I personally believe in destiny a lot, okay? I believe that everything happens for a reason. We might cry about it. We might think that why this is happening, this is not in my plan, but I feel like everything happens for a reason. We might not realize at that period of time, but it does happen to help us achieve something that we have been earning for. Like in this case, you were in Kohima, never decided to go to Paris, but I feel like Paris has a very important role to play, because I feel like being in a place in a foreign land, um, learning a new language, and I feel like it all happened for a reason. Do you feel the same way? I mean, how did Paris change your life in the way you were thinking as a kid when you were back here in India, and how did it change?
Okay, so yeah, everyone knows about the Eiffel Tower. Everyone knows about all good
Emily
city
in
called
Paris
Paris.
has shown us
Emily in
that.
Paris. So for a series, yeah, it is quite a good one. So what I'm saying is, I went there
Mm-hmm.
and I got to see how the world goes, right?
Yeah.
How it actually is, instead of in the pictures, and instead of hearing from people. You're out there living in that city,
Yeah.
and I found out that we're all busy in our own world. We're all busy making money. We're all busy doing 9 to 5s.
Mm.
We're all busy, very, very busy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like, you don't have time for yourself. You don't have
Yeah.
time to heal from all the things you've been through, like
Yeah.
at work, you'd be outside, you know, trying to get your way back to home, like in the
Yeah.
busy traffic. You don't have time to heal, and that thing, accumulates, right? It goes up, 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 and at certain period of time, you're like immune. You don't feel anything at all.
Yeah. Mm. Mm.
So yeah, people they they need spirituality. They need to heal themselves, and these are the sort of things like
Yeah.
contributing to society.
Yeah.
That helps you understand who you are
Yeah.
and try to find a meaning to your life.
Yeah. I mean, that's so true. When you say this, I just remembered things that I've been through. Okay, so I'll just give you an example. When I graduated, freshly out from here, everybody, when they talk about city life, they only tell us the good things, right? And the glitz and glimmer. But when I went there, staying away from family, getting into corporate world, the everybody is so busy in their 9 to 5 job, and in a way we have made our job, which is just meant to be a source of living, our whole life, you know. And there was a point in my life as well where I was so lost. There will be days I'll be like trying to find myself, and on those days I'll be the least productive. And I always wanted to give back to the society as well. And I think finding your true self is, you can find it in many ways. For you is, traveling around, meeting those kids and teaching them. So how do you go about? Do you plan those trips, or you already have a itinerary, or it's just unplanned and you just go and meet the kids out there, or somebody who is taking care of the monastery, the stupa, and you help to offer your teaching and all that.
So it is partly planned and partly unplanned. What
Mm-hmm.
is planned is that you're going to a place
Yeah.
where there's gonna be people. There's gonna be people of the similar culture. Like
Yeah.
I'm Tibetan. I'm going to a monastery.
Yeah.
So that's where I get to meet people. I'll share my experience,
Yeah.
and through my experience, like they would also like to learn more about them. So that's when I decided to teach,
Mm-hmm.
and and through people, like you go to a place, you get to know people,
Yeah.
and we communicate, and you know through the communication and through the connection to the bond that we have at that
Mm-hmm.
moment,
Mm-hmm.
it flourishes,
Yeah.
and that gives you opportunity to extend what you know and impart into
Mm-hmm.
the minds of others.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all part of the process. You plan it uh, a bit, and the rest you leave it, and it it takes form.
Yeah, yeah, so true. I mean, just having this conversation, I feel so
Yeah.
soulful, because it's also very important to have this aspect in your life. I mean, we just sometimes we're so busy, and I'm speaking about this a lot, but I cannot emphasize on how important it is to find your true self, because only when you find yourself, you can help others, right? Only when you find a reason, like you said, the only thing that is planned is you willing to help and you saying that I want to do this, and rest everything falls in place. So is there a story that you would like to share about your experience? I mean, something that has changed you forever, or anything.
Yeah. Back when I was in Paris,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, before coming to India,
Mm-hmm.
I already work in like NGOs
Yeah.
over there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been around 4 years that I'm with them, and it's still going on.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm here for the moment, and I can be of any help, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
still carrying on with what I do best. And
Yeah.
so, as I was saying, I work in two NGOs, and now I get to meet people.
Yeah.
And before I started working on this NGOs, I felt the need that society needs more people who can do things
Mm-hmm.
and contribute. And I think it's always been at the back of my head, like
Mm-hmm.
to help out people, right? And the story it extends way back when I was
Mm-hmm.
little.
Mm-hmm.
My parents, my mother and dad, they used to say like, yeah, you have to go big, and you have to contribute to people, to society. Like it's been always been there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, sometimes when we think about society, we only think about the negative aspect, right? Like that's how we have been thinking. Like when we say society, we say, oh, people who had been trying to put this on us, people, or people who had been trying to say negative. But I also feel like that when you have a support group, or when you're always willing to help and support each other, you grow. When you help people grow, you just grow from within, and in ways that you cannot even express, right? And if we have more people like you who are, who keep themselves second when it comes to, helping others, I mean, it'll just be a beautiful world, and it'll be just so beautiful for everyone if we have just people surrounded by the same passion. I mean, so what are your plans now? Now you have Dharamshala, now you are in south of India. Now what are the other plans?
Uh, yeah, I'm finishing my visa soon. Like
All right.
yeah, my 3 months are about to go up.
Mm-mm.
I have to exit the country once, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll be returning back and continue whatever I'm doing here.
Yeah.
So, so place I'm going to is Nepal. And over there's stupas, there are like ancient relics,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be a short journey over there. And
Mm-hmm.
I was also thinking if I could climb the Mount Everest.
Oh
So
wow.
that's all hypothetical. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
done it yet, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
If weather is suitable for the
Mm-hmm.
climbing, then
Mm-hmm.
yes, of course. If not, then like I'll leave it for later.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when I'm there, it's also like to find myself, like visiting all the ancient monuments, and yeah, it's gonna do me a lot of good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people should travel and do the pilgrimage, and it is
Mm-hmm.
very like soothing thing, like
Mm-hmm.
which you feel inside, like
Mm-hmm.
helps you a lot
Mm-hmm.
when you like try to think of all the possibilities. Like I don't know if people meditate a lot these days, but you should.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
helps you a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these kind of things help you feel grateful about all that you have,
Mm-hmm.
and not think about all of the things that you don't have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like even computers, right? We have to refresh it at some point of time, and we are just human beings. I mean, it's so important to meditate, and when we say meditate, it can simply mean just sitting when you wake up, or at the end, that at the end of the day, just you just give affirmation to yourself, and you just sit calm and don't think about anything. It's so
Mm,
it's so important to refresh yourself at one point of time, because right now we're just struggling. Kids are struggling to finish their
mm,
syllabus. Adults are struggling to find a job. Even even our parents, they're struggling to with so many things in their life. So I feel like meditation is so important. And speaking about meditation, just touching point, mental health is a very important thing that people are realizing now. But small steps like just taking a break, and just I feel like for me, traveling is my stress buster, because when we
mhm,
travel, you get to know more about you, and you learn about the culture around, and you just feel like you are just one small part of the whole world. And then I think it's just so soulfulling for me. So you staying here, born and brought up here in Nagaland, then you went to Delhi at some point of time, right? Then you
yeah.
were there in Paris, and now you're traveling. So traveling, how does it help you? Does it you know would you recommend traveling to people?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
If you're not traveling, you're not living. So traveling is very important. And when you travel, you get to see all these beautiful places and
Yeah.
meet different types of people.
Yeah.
And you know, there are also people that you'll see, and which are going to not change your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like me being in a monastery and teaching the small monks.
Yeah.
They're all peaceful. They're all like children, basically
Yeah.
children, but they're out there studying, right? Studying Buddhism, and it just makes you imagine like, what kind of life are they living. It's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Wish I could uh, get to see what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
like day-to-day activities.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could feel some of them when I was teaching them. So it was a very good experience, and that can only be done when you're traveling. So I would recommend a lot
Mm-hmm.
that you go out there and meet people, do things which you haven't done before,
Mm-hmm.
and that in return, it's gonna be memories to be told later on, and yeah, it's really good.
Mm-hmm. And how does your normal day to day look like in the monastery that you are at right now? How do you start your day? And being with those kids, I feel like
Mm.
it's a never ending long day.
Yeah, first of all, it's hard to deal with. The first day I was there, taking a class, they were around like 40
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because they're like all small and they're all sitting where they are, and they're so difficult to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I do have some experience with dealing with kids because I
Mm-hmm.
have younger siblings, and uh, yeah, they were hard to deal with. They were all jumping here and there. Now I would scream at them, "All right, guys, sit down and don't stop jumping here and there like monkeys." And they would still be out there, hanging by the window, running here and there inside the class, making noises. And the first day, like you won't believe me, I shouted, I screamed so much that I lost my voice, all within a period of an hour. Because I have other classes to attend as well, but they're all much older, so
Mm-hmm.
they were fine. But the
Mm-hmm.
kids were different, and yeah, so that helped me, on the second day to be more prepared, and which I was, and then on it went all smooth because I got to get along with them, like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
connect with
Yeah.
everybody, and they were able to cooperate later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used ways which helped to deal with kids,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a different story.
Yeah, I've been talking about kids. You can't really help the situation, right? If it were adults, you can be
Yeah.
like, they can understand because they have reached that level wherein they can understand and be more mature. But I think it's a journey. It's in itself. Now, talking about you sharing about monastery and the future monks, I mean, how, like, I know about the normal education system that we have, right? I mean, I want to know more about it. Like, if you are comfortable sharing about it, like, how does it work for them?
Um, well, they can only they're learning Buddhism, right? So
Mm-hmm.
from very small small age, they are
Yeah.
learning the Tibetan
Mm-hmm.
language, and
Mm-hmm.
then slowly starting to read the scripts,
Mm-hmm.
Buddhism scripts, and they have different subjects as
Mm-hmm.
well, like English and Tibetan and religion studies and stuff about history. So
Mm-hmm.
they're all there, and
Mm-hmm.
arts as well. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all there, and but it'll be majority about religious studies.
Yeah,
So that's
I'm.
what they will grow
Yeah.
up into. Right?
Mm-hmm. I feel like uh, that part of education system is teaching them more to be human, and have that feeling of helping people be more calm, control your mind and all that, because Buddhism is all about that, right? If you cannot control your mind, then you cannot control any of your thoughts, even if you're dreaming of becoming something, if you cannot control your mind, you cannot control anything, right? It's one of the principle of Buddhism, right?
Yeah, it's about the teachings which Lord Buddha had
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
left behind for us,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, its sole purpose is
Mm-hmm.
to finding yourself and being aware of everything and
Mm-hmm.
having control over your mind and your body.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's very meaningful once you
Mm-hmm.
get to find out
Mm-hmm.
and relate yourself
Mm-hmm.
when you're deep inside the studies.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah. Now, controlling your own mind can mean different ways to people, right? How does it how do you try to control your mind, or what's the practice that you follow so that you calm yourself down and just be
it's
yourself?
simple. It's really simple. You meditate
Mm-hmm.
and you chant. Uh, you chant the sacred words that that teach us and has all the meanings about the religion.
Mm-hmm.
So there are mantras that they chant every time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an ongoing process, day-to-day process. You do it
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Mm-hmm.
You train your mind, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how you do it. You chant
Mm-hmm.
those mantras every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you you become aware, and you it becomes a habit, right? When you do
Mm-hmm.
something every day, it becomes a habit and becomes a part of you.
Yeah, yeah, so true. Like, what I like to do is when I'm very stressed, I like to give self affirmation to me that it's okay, everything is going to be fine, it's just a phase. And I think it's just a small habit, but when you have it in the back of your head, just helps. Because right now we have so many things that are coming up just because we cannot control our mind, like anxiety and panic attacks and all that. And I just feel like just 5 minutes of your time to start, or even 1 minute, where you just sit calmly and just stop all the thinkings that you have and just calm down, meditate, right? It helps a lot. I mean, the conversation that we're having right now is so meaningful, like especially for me, because I've struggled with all those panic attacks and all that, because of me. At one point of time, I put my 9 to 5 job to be the purpose of my life, which is wrong. So, is there any message that you would like to give to our youths that are listening to us?
Okay. Well, it's a very difficult phase, right? If you're having problems on a day-to-day basis, that if things are not going well,
Mm.
you know, you have anxieties, you struggle, and everything is in your head.
Yeah.
So, right, if you can train your mind, and there are many ways,
Mm-hmm.
right? The modern world requires us to visit a psychologist, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's not the only way,
Yeah.
and they in return they prescribe you with medicines, and
Mm-hmm.
that's later on. That's at the
Mm-hmm.
end stages.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone will feel good going to doctors and taking medicines. The best way and uh, the best solution I would say
Mm-hmm.
was to give yourself
Yeah.
time to think deep within yourselves,
Mm-hmm.
meditate, be peaceful, be soulful,
Mm-hmm.
and like just do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you stop yourself and when you're not happy, right, try to be happy, try to be
Mm-hmm.
whoever you want to be, try to go out there, travel, try to live your life,
Yeah.
try to help others.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things which which you will find that they're not very useful to you right now, but in the
Mm-hmm.
long run,
Mm-hmm.
they'll help you find yourself and be the purpose. Maybe you like it, maybe you'll not, but there's only one way to find out. When you
Mm-hmm.
do it, you'll
Yeah,
know it.
yeah, yeah, so true. Like I said, okay, dare to dream and your dreams do come true. So it's all about believing in yourself. If you if you think that you can do this, I also believe that when you have self affirmations for yourself, and you make your own thoughts come into life, law of attraction works on your way. So it's all at the end, it just comes to you, your soul, and your mind. So I mean, it's very important that we stay connected to it and do not lose grip of it, because once we do, we just lose ourselves. And once we lose ourselves, I just feel like we lose our purpose, right? What do you have to say on that, Tenzin?
Yeah, that's right. You see, it's just one step behind, like
Mm,
doing it
mm,
and like thinking about doing it. Yeah, you
mm-hmm,
just have to do it. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Take the step,
Yeah.
and when you take the step, you know you have to take another step.
Mm,
So likewise, like things fall into place,
mm-hmm,
and you know you find your way somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
instead of just sitting and thinking about doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're out there,
Mm-hmm.
you are doing something. All the doors open,
Yeah. Yeah.
all doors open, and you find different things that you can do. You find out that I can do that. I can
Yeah.
do this, all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was about the thing that you were saying before, that you know there are things that you want to do, but they don't come to you. You
Yeah.
have to go towards them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go toward them, because once you are there, you can see it on field that
Yeah.
there's so many things that you can do, and things fall into place, like I was saying
Yeah.
before,
Yeah. And when
and
I
you will
say,
eventually
yeah,
be
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, no, please go ahead.
So yeah, that's about it. I was saying they kind of like you get attracted. They get attracted towards you when you're there out there, right? They
Mm-hmm.
get attracted towards you, and I don't know. It happens with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it happens with everybody, but I'm sure it will. When you
Yeah.
find a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
everything falls into place. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to do anything at all. Just it finds you.
Mm-hmm. No, I can totally resonate to what you're saying. Sometimes we might have a plan and we know that we have the capability, but it's just away from taking that step. We are scared about what people might say. You are scared about whether you will succeed or not. But I feel like it all shouldn't matter. If you think that it has a purpose and it has meaning to you, you should go ahead. I always say that you should have a life full of, I did it, than to have a life full of what ifs, right? Do
Mm.
you agree with that as well?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It happens. I mean, I cannot say that it hasn't. Like it
Yeah,
has happened. So yeah, we can relate to it in many ways.
yeah. I mean, I always tell even people that I meet, I tell them that just do it. Even if it's all about taking the first step, right? If you start something you do not like about it, you can always go back, but you'll know what you like and you do not. It's all about, getting out of your comfort zone. Like I said, you came out of your comfort zone, and that's when you found this purpose, and which is so meaningful to you. And this is going to be there forever. Our job may go, come, it can, it can be a secondary thing, but this would remain with us. This is what will keep us soulful forever.
That is true. Every word you said, it's right there. We all the conversation we had till now, it is to say this very thing that you just said. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was such a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much,
It
Tenzing,
is.
for taking out time. I know you have a really tight schedule, and I guess you're still traveling, and you have so many things to do, and you have already devoted your time for her cause. But thank you so much for taking out time and accepting to be on the podcast today. I mean, it's just a beautiful conversation that we had, and it means so much to me just having this conversation.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. It's a privilege, I would say, being here and doing this podcast with you. Thank you very much, Neha.
Thank you so much, Nancy.